Al, it's the time of the year that everyone is looking forward to. The end of the
Is
year.
it
They're like,
the end
wow,
of the year?
thank God this year's over.
I mean, yeah, this year's kind of been a dumpster fire, so
I mean, when hasn't a year been a dumpster fire?
it's been a dumpster fire for a couple years at least.
It's true, it's true.
Yeah,
But with that time comes certain things we got to talk about.
traditions, if you will,
Traditions. We've got to come up with the best games that came out this year.
in our opinions.
The only opinions that matter.
It's true.
So with that, hello, welcome to episode 107 of the Season Anime Checkup OVA. It's a podcast where we have conversations about video games, anime, manga. Hello, I'm Jared, joined as always by Doc Al and Ladium.
Hi, hi.
And it's time for Game of the Year.
Yeah, we're doing it.
The 2018 version. The 2018th version.
um, this was a weird year for games, so it was kind of a difficult time for me to build a list.
Yeah, like you kind of knew coming off of last year when it was such a banger of a
Such a
year
good year.
that
Yeah,
this
it
year
was
was going
gonna
to
be
be a little
tough.
bit of a fall off.
Yeah,
And
but it was still there was some good stuff.
yeah, predictably that happened, but there was some good stuff that came out this year, and we're going to discuss that.
Excited.
But before we get into that, you mentioned something yesterday that you were like, do we do this?"
I did, didn't
You
I?
did. So like, hey, we're getting all of the blank of the year stuff in. Let's talk about. You want to talk about your favorite anime of the year because you weren't sure if we were going to
hmm
talk about that or not.
I wasn't, and I was like, oh man, like I have one this year, which is
Mm-hmm.
surprising. But I have one. So I wanted to at least give it a nod, be like, hey, you did a good job, buddy.
All right, so let's hear Al's favorite anime of 2018, and also as a side note, why Love Life Sunshine is a masterpiece.
And it is a masterpiece. And if it yes, I love Sunshine. Um, I was going with like one that came out this year.
Yeah, of course. I just want to put that in there as a
But
joke.
yeah, Sunshine is phenomenal and should win Anime of the Year every year. This one won't surprise you at all.
Nope, because I
A
bet we're
Place
gonna
Further Than
agree.
the Universe.
Yep.
Yeah, Place Further Than the Universe. Absolutely should be the best anime of the year.
1000%.
It's so good, and it's like girls being friends with girls and supporting girls, and it's got like nice humor in it, and it makes you feel things. And like Hinata's shirts are the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So it's a really, really good anime. And if you haven't watched it, you should, or also just like listen to our podcast about it because that will also tell you what's going on. But still watch it because you should.
I mean, one of the first shows that came out this year because it was a winter season show and just knocked it out of the park. And I don't really feel like anything touched it
Yeah, I
in terms of even coming
no.
close to like challenging it for anime of the year.
Yeah, the only thing that I think was a little bit better, it wasn't better anime, but it was a better opening, was the Caligula opening was really, really phenomenal. Like really, really good. But in terms of anime, like this one smoked everything.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was so good.
I would 1000% agree with you. I would like to give some shout outs to some other good animus of the year.
Yeah, do your thing.
Pop Team Epic,
Yes,
which came out this year. Sometimes it's
I
easy to
love Pop
forget.
Team Epic.
Just great absurd humor. So
Yeah,
that's
I
one.
would easily give that number two.
Um, I believe the back half of the last season of March Comes in Like a Lion came out this year, and that show is always really, really good. Um, it's hard trying to remember things that came out this year. Uh, Caligula was surprising in how like we actually like that show considering how much we did not like that game. So
Yeah, I was surprised that it was actually like an enjoyable anime to watch
yeah.
because that game was like the opposite of enjoyable. And again, that opening theme is just like so good.
It's true. It's really good, and that show in general was just a big old surprise, I think, for us. Like I said.
Yeah, I mean, like we got to learn about how talking psychology can get you the ladies on the swan boat.
It's 1000% true.
I'm still waiting for somebody to try that on me, honestly.
uh,
How have I not got anybody? No takers.
Laid Back Camp was just really chill and good. Also came out early this year. Megalobox is really fantastic if you like sports and boxing. Speaking of sports and or sports in general, Hanebado was also surprising in how much I enjoyed that show, but like the back half of that really takes off. And then probably something from this season that I think could be in contention is Zombieland Saga.
Oh, I've heard good things about that.
Because that show ended on a pretty fun note, and just in general I did a lot of fun things in terms of it's like basically subverting your expectations of like what a zombie show should be, and also positioning it in like the idol genre as well, and just like hitting all those marks on like what an idol show usually is. So
That's good.
it does a really good job with that. And also they got like the voice actress for Sailor Moon to just make zombie noises the entire season.
That's
It
hilarious.
really is.
That's so good.
And one of the girls from Saint Snow's in that show as well. So
Yeah. It's Sarah, right?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there you go. There's some blank of the year for you. Some animated of the year.
Congrats to all the winners.
Rest of all the winners.
And by winners, I mean like one winner, but still.
To a place for the
Yay.
universe. So let's dive into some game of the year.
Should we clarify that I'm doing it my weird way still, or
The lucky number 7 way of Al is back again. If you remember last year.
And the year before.
So she has her top 7, I have top 10, and then we also have some supplemental awards we're going to give out first, which I believe we have 7 of each, so really leaning hard into that 7.
7 is a good number, man.
We have 3 7s, we've hit the jackpot. It's like a slot machine.
It took me a second to figure that out. I was like, what? Anyway, I'm dumb. Let's talk about some games.
Let's talk about some games. Our first award, our first award is similar in that I believe we're giving it to the same winner, but they're different. They're named differently.
Okay.
So why don't you start off with what you gave for your first award?
My first award being the game that would have been my game of the year if it had been released a month later.
Yes.
So game that would have been my game of the year if it had been released a month later is Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus.
It's true. Which I guess like technically you could also say the game that would have came out like 6 months later because it did come out 6 months, like a few months prior, 5 to 6 months prior on the Vita before the PS4 version, but
yeah, but I
still.
played the PS4
Yeah.
version, so this game is good. It was my Persona 5. Well, between this and Tokyo Mirage Sessions, like Tokyo's Blank is just knocking out the park here with RPGs. Like those two are what I wish Persona 5 had been.
Yeah.
They're so good. And it also got me into some other RPGs, which will come up later. But all the characters were amazing. The story was a lot of fun. They did like the really neat quirk where they showed the opening every time that you got to like a new chapter of it, and that was really neat. It was like an anime.
Yeah.
I loved this game, and it stuck with me. I still listen to the opening whenever I'm trying to hype myself up.
It's real good.
It's real good. It's a really good game.
And not consequently, but on the same page as you, my best old game, which for me is just a game that I played in this year that did not come out this year, is Tokyo Xanadu EX Plus.
Yay!
And like, yeah, basically everything you said like just hits the nail on the head of like why this game was just so fun. Just that story was really fun. it wiped the taste out of how bad Persona 5 was out of my mouth, and was like, wow, this is what that game should have been. Like you said.
Yeah.
And just it was just a blast to play through, and like I don't think either of us were really expecting it to be as good as it was, because we kind of came in
No.
cold to it. Like I knew of this game for a few years, like I was like, because I was interested in seeing what it was, but then like once we played it, it blew us out of the water.
It was phenomenal.
Well, we got our good talk about something fun, and let's go to the opposite. Let's crank that knob all the way 180 degrees.
Ooh.
uh I would like to present The Quiet Man presents Worst Game of 2018. And that award goes to a Square Enix joint.
A lot of my choices were Square Enix,
Yeah.
honestly.
Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition HD. Oh
Woo!
boy, what a mess.
Yeah, that was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Basically, like anything that was good about Final Fantasy 15, they're like, what if we just took all that out and made it this?
Made it bad. Made it worse.
Right.
It's astonishing that they made Final Fantasy 15 worse,
I don't know
and they
how.
did.
They did, like they very thoroughly did. And they didn't even use like the cute chibi designs like for World of Final Fantasy, which they easily could have done. And at least then it would have been cute. But no, it's just appalling and terrible in every single freaking way.
Just everything about that game is not good. Like it's the worst version of Final Fantasy 15, which is that original version where they didn't like basically patch in more of the story because they released that game unfinished essentially.
Yeah.
Everything about the art and design of that game is bad and
Yeah.
just so poorly thought out. The combat is so just boring and easy to mash your way through. And then, of course,
Well, they did dumb things like the magic, where like if you had
right.
magic and then went to the next one, it's like, oh well, that magic you just had was completely
And you
gone.
can only hold like one magic at a time for whatever
Yeah.
reason.
The fun dialogue between the boys that was actually like one of my favorite parts of it is all gone. They just recycle like the same three lines between them.
It's so bad. Like I don't understand. I understand like why they would want to put this game out on like mobile and all that stuff, but like it's not a good version. It's a terrible
It's
version.
not good.
Uh,
Um, yeah, legit. I noticed like all of my options for my category was named game that never should have been made, but yours was much better. And The Quiet Man Presents. But all four of my choices that I had on here were from Square Enix,
yeah,
and that says something.
yeah.
Um,
Can we? I don't want to cut you off for a second, but I just saw
no, you're
something
good.
today that
Uh-oh.
apparently Square Enix Japan put out, and it is a
Uh-oh.
trailer for The Quiet Man,
Oh no.
and it's using like all these bad reviews as like kind of like it's a fake, like almost a fake accolades trailer, but it's like
Oh
it's
no.
all like bad reviews about The Quiet Man, and it's supposed to basically hype up like the second part of that game where you get like all the audio and stuff. Is like wait
Oh.
till you see the audio and you'll know the story. Then you'll be wrong about what you said. It's like nope, no,
No. No.
it's even worse.
Yeah, our version was better when it was about baking.
Oh man.
Awful.
But go ahead with your winner.
Mine is Secret of Mana HD.
Wow, that's a surprise.
Yeah, this game should never have been made. It was such a buggy mess, and like it wasn't fun, and it took out a whole lot of the soul of the original game. And so I'm like, why did they even bother? Like why it's kind of the same thing as like Final Fantasy 15 is like anything that made that game fun in the first place, they just removed it. And so I'm like, why it looks nicer, cool. Except for it's gonna crash every 15 minutes. Yay. Like
Woo!
it shouldn't have happened. And if anybody else is wondering, like my choices were Secret of Mana HD, The Quiet Man Pocket Edition, and the multiplayer of Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, Not good choices all around.
No, no, no. But I went with Secret of Mana HD just because like that was a game that I genuinely used to like. I loved it,
Hmm.
and playing through this version, I'm like, what? Why did you do this to it?
Yeah.
It's awful. And so it kind of broke my heart a little bit.
Well, alrighty. What's your next award? I think this is where we start to
Best remake.
diverge. Best remake,
Hmm.
not Secret of Mana.
Not Secret of Mana. I gave this to Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology
That makes sense. Yeah.
for the 3DS, which yeah, you're not shocked by. Um, the original of this game is legit amazing and could potentially be in like my top 20 games of all time. It's a fantastic story. The characters are awesome. It has like these neat timeline mechanics. So you have to like swap between the different timelines in order to solve like whatever is going on. And Perfect Chronology, the only real negative of it is that they changed Erica's hair.
Hmm. And also
And
just like her
like if that's
design.
yeah, her design in general, but like when that's the like big negative is that they changed one character's design, like I can live with it. Because the added stuff, like the extra story bits and the new battle mechanics, all they were all fantastic. And once we learned that the same director who worked on Tokyo Mirage Sessions worked on this, it was like, oh, it makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. But yeah, Perfect Chronology was amazing. And so that was my best remake of 2018.
Alrighty. I would like to present best anime game,
All right.
and you're gonna have to go to your phones for this one. A
Oh.
Japanese only mobile release that just recently came out. It's
Hmm.
called Takeshobo Quest Attack Pop Team Epic,
Oh.
which is it's a free to play game, so you kind of have that stuff going for it. But like it's this weird like almost riff on gacha style games in the sense that like you basically just acquire a bunch of just to fight the characters from Pop Team Epic, and then it just injects all of the humor of that show into this game. Where like every time you have to watch an ad to get something, like they make like anime style bumpers, and it's just parodies of different anime. So like there's a Mobile Suit Gundam parody, there's like a One Piece parody, there's a Persona 4 the animation parody in this,
That's amazing.
which is the wildest thing. Like that's something I would have never thought of. And then like just all of like the different stages you go to are like almost like parodies of other game franchises. Like there's like a Street Fighter parody, there's a Yakuza parody in there. Like it's all over the place, and it's like it really gets like that series' humor really well. And yeah, it's like I said, it's a free to play game, so it's rife with like a lot of that style of game and kind of the badness of that. But like outside of that, it's super goofy, and even though it's all in Japanese, I can still have a lot of fun time with it. Like, there's literally an option in there to spend like 1 million of the paid currency to get something in that game.
Nice.
Which is that should give you an indication of what kind of game this is.
Yeah.
Uh,
Nice.
so I will continue here with my next award. It is best arcade archives release.
All right. Hit me.
So last year, I gave out the most surprising arcade archives release, which was versus Super Mario Brothers, which was off the heels of Nintendo being like, "Hey, we're gonna put out our arcade games." And I was like, "What? Okay, cool." This year, I went with best because if it was last year, best arcade archives release would have been Garo Mark of the Wolves, one of the greatest fighting games of all time, which we've discussed on the show.
Yes.
Thankfully, this year they released one of my favorite Neo Geo era games, and a game that I did not think was actually going to ever come out on Arcade Archives because it was made by like a different publisher than SNK. It was kind of in this weird legal situation at one point because it basically looked like another game, and some lawsuits came about for that. But best arcade archives release of the year is Money Puzzle Exchanger, one of my favorite favorite Neo Geo era games of all time. It's such a fun game to play, as it's like a puzzle game where you basically match up like different denominations of yen together
Hmm.
and just do all that. It has some really bad English in it, which is really good.
Cool.
And just it's a really goofy like anime style puzzle game. One of the characters literally just does 90s anime laugh for like the entire time you're playing as her. It's really good.
Fantastic.
Yeah. And it's a good way to be able to buy this game now because I think it is technically or was technically available on a PSN, like the PlayStation 1 version of it.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's still the case, but like, this is a good cheap way to get this game, and it's fantastic. All right, what do you got?
Mine is best old game, as in this is a game that came out not this year or last year in December, that I played this year and that very much enjoyed.
Okay.
And that is Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel.
All right.
Yeah, I haven't beat it yet, but it is really, really good. Like same reasons that I was loving Tokyo Xanadu, but this one is a little bit different in the sense that it's like a military academy and it's got like more medieval-ish aesthetics to it. But again, like the characters are awesome, the story is awesome. Like you got some neat political tensions going on there that I'm like all about that life. But also just like get to hang out with a bunch of nerds, and I'm liking that. I have favorites, and they keep taking them out of my party, which is making me very angry. But um, I just have a crew there, and I'm having a lot of fun with that battle system, which the battle system is entirely different.
Yeah, because it's turn-based compared to
It's
Xanadu, which
turn-based,
was more
actiony.
yeah.
But it's got some really neat battle mechanics in it. Like there's a super move that people can do that like trounces any kind of turn order. There's like neat linking mechanics with it. So like if a character is linked with the other one, then they can do like follow-up attacks or heal you or whatever. And it's all about like using those bonds to your advantage. So it's a pretty cool game. And so I have that one, and the second one will come very soon after. I just haven't had time to play a lot of games because I started a new job. Yay!
My favorite thing is
Anyway.
when you have both those games on your system, like you go to like the first game and it's like cheery after school time, and then you look at like and then you look at the second game's picture and it's like we're all angry and at war. It's like, whoa, what happened here?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what happens.
What do you got next?
Best moment.
Okay, I also have best moment. So
Oh.
let's hear your best moment of the year.
This one is probably not going to surprise you in the least bit.
Okay.
It is the Battle for Everyone's Souls boy music video from Dancing Moon Knight.
Good.
You got to hear my like pure joy at playing that song and seeing the video. You out of everybody who's ever known me got to hear that joy.
Yeah.
And know how much I loved it.
It's true.
And so you can attest to how like fantastic this was for me.
It was like the happiest I've ever heard you.
Basically, yeah. Like I have continuously gotten back to watch this video because I'm like, it's so good. Everything about it's so good. They have like the JK pop dance going on. They have the Velvet Room outfits. They have dancing with or fighting with the neon light things and the paint. You have like the crazy like aesthetic turnarounds. You have the awkward singing of the vocal part of it. Like I love everything about this. It legit gave me so much utter joy, and I feel like if anything were capable of curing my depression, it would be this video. There you go, my best moment.
So we kind of had the same idea for this winner.
Oh, snap.
Mine's a little bit more broad.
Okay.
But my best moment of the year is kind of a lot of moments, in a sense. And it's anytime you interact with the Persona 3 cast and Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight.
I could agree with that. I can get full on with that one. It's amazing.
Like when I played through this game in Japanese earlier this year, like going through the entire story, even though like I didn't know what was going on really, but just like seeing all those characters again, seeing them like in better graphical quality, just seeing them interact with each other was just, it was so much fun and just filled my heart with like so much joy just seeing like those characters again and getting to
Same.
like relive things with them, and then watching you go through it and in English and seeing exactly what was going on. Just, it was such a blast. And it was
Carry my joy on that one
yeah,
too.
exactly. And like that was the reason I went back and replayed P3 this year, was because of
Yeah.
this game and being like, I really
Uh,
miss this cast of characters and want to see them again.
Yeah, they're amazing. And honestly, like I loved seeing them again. Everything about that was just so fun for me.
Yeah.
I was screeching at certain points because I was so happy.
It was just such a good time. Like I
Also, we found out that Akihiko wears red underwear.
and also just takes bites out of lemons.
It bites out of lemons with the rind and all. Why, Akihiko? Anyway, I interrupted you.
I don't know if I lost my train of thought when I remembered lemons.
Lemons.
Uh,
It was also fun that you like got to explore the rooms a bit more than you could in the
mhm.
in the original game. So you get to see a bit more like the personalities and what mattered to them enough to put in the room.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know that Ken had a hamster gerbil or something, whatever it is. I had no idea.
Yeah.
Now I know. And its little feet go.
Keeps running, no matter what.
Yeah, no matter what.
This whole thing just really fans the fire of like, man, if they don't make a remake of P3, like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I don't know. Like they really need to. I would love it.
I believe this is another award we have together. My version of
Mhm.
it is called Best Jared and Al Multiplayer Game.
Okay, mine's best co-op gameplay with Jared.
I believe we have the same winner for this.
Do we?
I think we do, unless like
What's your?
unless something changed in the last few weeks. I don't know.
It might have.
My winner is Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Oh, wow. All right, so it is different.
Okay.
But yeah, that was so fun to play with
Yeah.
you. Oh, I had a blast playing that game with you. We have like the dumb video of me like as Yosuke dancing on your Chie face down body to show me the meaning of being lonely. But live and die by the rando on that, and it's a good game.
Yeah.
Good game.
And just how like I guess like the way that game is almost kind of like easily kind of accessible in a
Mhm.
weird way. It's just, it made that so much fun, and it made us kind of feel like we were like real cool and like good fighting game players in a sense, and having like all these really close intense battles all the time, and just having so much fun with that game. Like it was such a blast to play.
It was a lot of fun to
Mhm.
play. You might actually be surprised at what mine is.
Okay.
I changed it because that was what mine was.
I almost did the same thing, but I decided to just like limit it to like games that came out this year because I'm
Okay,
weird like that. But if
I did
I
not.
didn't, I would have probably changed it to what you're about to say.
Stardew Valley.
Yeah.
Mhm. We've been playing it lately, and like hearing you laugh at me like running around trying to woo a boy with a fish over my head is like the greatest thing in the world. But it's been so fun, and it's kind of like relaxing to just run a farm, man.
Yeah, like
We're like, hey, let's go get some parsnips.
I agree with all that. Like that game is so much just like, it's such a good chill game. And just the way like it doesn't like hammer home like, oh, you got to do this right now. You got to do this right now. It's like it literally just like lets you like look at all the options you have, because there's a lot of stuff to that game, and it kind of can be overwhelming at first. But
Yeah, it was.
But the good thing about that game is that like it's just like, hey, we have all these options for you, but you get to take them at your own pace. You can do whatever you want and do it whenever you want. It's not like you have to do this right now. If you want to do it now, you want to do it later. It's whatever you want to do. And I think that like that helps that game so much. And just like letting you just like relax and have fun and enjoy it. And being able to play this with the new like multiplayer update that finally came to Switch just recently, and getting to play it with you just like really just reignited my love for that game. Like that game might be one of my favorite games of all time. Um, I gave it Game of the Year in 2016, and I still hold that like it's a phenomenon of a game. It's so fantastic. It's so much fun. Like you said, like just hanging out and doing all that stuff. It's been a like when we played it, it's literally been like one of my favorite things we've been doing recently.
Yeah, it's been a blast, and I got to make a Love Live reference in it, so that was good. I got to decide not to date one dude because he doesn't like pizza.
It's true.
Um, which, the real choices on like, how do I date somebody? Oh, this guy doesn't like pizza. F him. I'm not
Get
dating
out.
him. Um, but it's been a lot of fun. And like I said, and until we started playing that, my co-op game would have been the same as yours. And if I had limited it to only games that came out this year, it would have been that one.
Mm-hmm.
But because I've had so much fun in the past few weeks playing this, it usurped it.
Yeah, like I generally was thinking about this like recently, like maybe I should change this, but
Well, both of them now get representation.
true. They're both
There we
fantastic.
go.
They were both fantastic multiplayer experiences that we had this year.
Yes, agree.
And that leads us to our final supplemental award,
Mine's Best Atome.
which is no surprise. Everyone's so shocked about that.
So shocked. So very shocked. They'll also be extremely shocked on what it is. Oh my goodness.
What could it be?
It's Code Realize Future Blessings.
Whoa!
Sandisk. Whoa! What? There's just so much extra content, and being able to go back into that world was a lot of fun. And honestly, I didn't even get to date Watson, but I probably would have picked this as Best Atome just because I got to interact with Watson, and he was amazing. But you got some good content in this. You got the Mafia story, you got the Finnis route, you got the Herlock Sholmes route, you got the like deli extra scenes, and then you got like all the regular dudes like their extra scenes. It was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever like felt as emotional as I did during like Impy's route. It's just weird because Impy is not my favorite, but his route is by far the best route in this game. Like, period. Full stop. You cannot change my mind. It's amazing. He took us down to the water. It's great. Anyway, it's the best Atome this year. Whee!
Wee. My final award goes to Best Surprise.
Okay.
A game that, comes out of nowhere, takes us by the whims of fate, and you're like you're leaving going, wow, I was not expecting that. And you pretty much guessed this right away. And I think that holds true, like because
I love that I texted what it was when you showed the category. You're like, wow.
So we did an episode about this, and it was before I'd played it, and it was just you being like, here's everything in it. It's real cool. I really enjoyed it. Yeah. And then
As I do. Yada, yada, yada.
and then I played it as someone who is not really the biggest fan of the original game of this.
Mm-hmm.
I came away from this expansion being like, holy crap, that was really, really fun and really good. 2018's Best Surprise goes to Xenoblade Chronicles 2: Torn of the Golden Country.
Yes.
A game, an expansion, I guess I was not expecting to enjoy as much as I did. Like, I think they did a lot of quality of life stuff to that game to make it better than, the original. The baseline game, I like the story of it a lot better. I think a lot of the writing was better in this, which helps that, it's a little bit more short form. But
even then, like, I still put like 50 hours in
that's
it.
you. You put in like a
Wow.
minimum of 200 hours into the base game just because you would. Let's be real here.
All right. I did also 100% do everything I could in Torna.
But I left this thing like going through all of it, just being like, I was not expecting to enjoy this as much as I did, or to like it as much as I did, considering what I thought of base Xenoblade Chronicles 2,
Hmm.
which I thought was all
I was
right,
very
but
happy.
not necessarily blown away by it. But this was just infinitely better,
Yeah,
and
it was
yeah,
blown away category.
I enjoyed it so much more.
I was so happy whenever you're like, yeah, I like this one. I'm like, yes, yes,
Finally.
one of us.
So yeah, that was genuinely surprising that I enjoyed that as much as I did.
Nailed it.
But it's time to dive into the best of the best. Not best
All
of
right.
best. That's a different thing altogether. But the best games of 2018.
All right. You get to do a few before I even jump in.
It's true.
So
I
have
got a
at
few
20,
more.
three
Coming
more. Three
coming in
more.
at number 10.
Hmm.
It's your favorite game of the year.
Oh boy.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
Zzz.
They made a good Dragon Ball game.
Wow. Get wrecked.
That's pretty much all you could say about it. It looks really fantastic. Like it moves. The animations are just fantastic to look at. Um, and yeah, it's like it's. I mean, obviously it's an Arc System Works game, so like of course you would expect it to be good, but like usually Dragon Ball games aren't that great. And even if they are, it's like they're okay to good at best. And this really, I think, surpassed a lot of expectations. The story mode isn't, that great. It's a little middling, and then some of the stuff recently coming out of like Toei being like, well, we can't. If you're having a fighting game tournament, you can't have this there, even though like it was the biggest thing at Evo this year and like had so much momentum, and now the Dragon Ball parent company is like, well, we can't make money off of this, so you can't have it, and it's super
Me.
and dumb. But as a game on its own merits, like it's a lot of fun. They do a lot of good things to like capture like the essence of Dragon Ball within it, and there's a lot of Gokus.
So many
So many
Gokus.
Gokus.
So many Gokus.
Number 9, we've kind of already talked about at like length of why I liked it and you liked it. Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight.
Hmm.
Not going with the bad English names because no. We talked about why it's good. Like just having that cast back. The song choices I think are a lot better than the 5 dancing game, which is just a bad.
Yeah.
And just I just had so much fun playing this. So much fun. Just it was just such an enjoyable experience to have. And it at least made me feel like I didn't waste money buying that double pack.
At least two of them were good.
Yes,
Well,
true.
I guess you got the soundtrack.
That too. Which you don't even get over here.
Yeah, trash.
Number 8 is a game that just recently came out. It's called Grease. It's like the Spanish pronunciation of gray, which I believe you would know more than me. So you have probably at least like seen this in GIFs and stuff. Like when people talk about games as art,
Hmm.
this is what they're talking about.
I have this one on my list of things to buy. So
This literally might be one of the most gorgeous looking games I've ever played.
really,
The art style is so good. And just like the way it moves and animates, like it's phenomenal. Like this is legitimately a work of art. And then like just the gameplay itself is kind of like a puzzle platformer. So it's like one of those types of games, and then uh the story is kind of interesting because like there's no dialogue, there's no words or anything like that, and you kind of have to like just interpret what's happening, and it's pretty easy to kind of understand what's happening of it just being kind of a character battling with like grief and depression and all that sort of things. But
hmm.
it does it really well, I think, and just that art style is so good. That art style is phenomenal. You,
It's got like a watercolor-ish
mhm.
art style.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
yeah, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
That brings us to number 7, which means you get to jump in.
Oh boy, I'm jumping in.
Hello, welcome to the pool.
I'm here. Yay.
So what's your number
Wait,
7?
do you want me to go
Yeah,
first?
I was leading
Sorry.
you into.
Seven Scarlet.
Okay.
Um, Seven Scarlet was actually a huge surprise for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was in the Summer of Otome block.
Yeah.
And I didn't really know what to expect because Seven Scarlet doesn't tell you jack about what to expect. Honestly, I still don't know what it means. But the story of this game was amazing and like had no right to be this amazing. But Otome just is able to do the wildest stuff because they're like, all right, we can do whatever we want with the story as long as the dudes are hot. And they do that. They full on do that here. The real detriment of this is that everybody has creepy hands and she's obsessed with them.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
But and I don't even like most of the guys that are dateable in this game, but the story itself, like as you date more of the guys, you get more of the story, and it starts with like that crazy FMV.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just kept playing it. I'm like, wow, I really want to know what's going on. I really want to understand what's happening here. And also there was Toa, who was like the cutest, and he had all the kitties all around him.
Mm-hmm.
Like the time that he fell down in the shrine area, and he just had like kitty food in his pockets, and all the cats came on him. He was my best boy of the game, and it was just a lot of neat like supernatural stuff and a lot of like murder mystery stuff. Because the whole plot of it is that her brother is missing, and so she follows a like supernatural club in this small town to see if she can get any clues to what happened to her brother. And obviously, like the supernatural club's full of a bunch of hot dudes that she can date. They also have the hots for her. And like one of them is also the manager, who is not involved, but kind of a jerk. It just does some wild stuff with the story, which I think we talked about in the pod, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I guess if you really want to know more, either play the game or listen to the podcast on it. But it is wild, and I had a blast with it.
Alrighty. My number 7 game of the year is Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory.
Ah, that makes sense.
I love that first Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth game, and I think this, while kind of being like a parallel story to that, which is an interesting choice, I think it does a lot of things better and like improves upon that first game in terms of just mechanics and storytelling and all of that. And it was once again another JRPG that I was like, wow, this is better than Persona 5. And just,
not hard.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong. Just had a lot of fun with, and especially because like, it's a game that came out very early in the year, and it was just like a good thing to kind of have that early and to enjoy. Like it was just a fun time going through that game and just kind of like reliving the first game again, seeing like all those old characters again, and I really like the way they positioned the story in this one. I thought they did a lot better job of just like writing and storytelling within this, and it was just a fun time. And it's a game that I feel kind of is underlooked at a lot, especially just this series in general, because the first game kind of had the same problem. So, yeah, it's a good game. Good game.
6.
Number 6.
What's your 6?
So I went with The Missing J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories.
Also not shocked that that's on here.
That's true. We talked about this on the pod, a month or two back, and just I was really surprised by this game and just the themes it went with, the story it went with, especially at the end. I don't want to get into spoilers really, but it does some real interesting things and some real surprising things that I was totally not expecting. And just in general, I think like the game does just storytelling pretty well. The writing's real interesting as well, especially because like there's a lot of good like just text message exchanges within the game, and that's kind of the bulk of the storytelling. But like they're really fleshed out and I think well written. And for another puzzle platformer, like I think it does a decent job of doing that. But the story really just like is the strong point here, and it does some really really interesting things.
Cool. You ready for my six?
I'm always ready.
It doesn't do anything interesting with the story, but I love it anyway. Hyrule Warriors Definitive Edition.
Wow, what a surprise!
uh, Muso. That's really all you have to say. Muso plus Zelda equals yes.
Yeah.
You kind of got everything in the same package, thus the definitive marking on it. You got all the DLC, you got all the stuff in the 3DS, you have the new Breath of the Wild outfits, which are rad. I bought this game, this is the third time, and I've sunk so many hours into it, and I still love it. There's something completely beautiful about being able to kill 2,000 dudes with like shredding guitars playing the Zelda theme behind you, like, and Link's in short shorts. Like, why not? Yes, okay. That's really all I have to say about this. Is that it's great.
All right.
Yeah.
That brings us into the top
Number
five.
five?
Top five.
Oh snap!
You
You ready for mine or yours?
You go.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle.
Wow, what a surprise! That's also my number 5.
Yay! That's funny. I didn't realize we would ever have anything that crossed over here. But yeah, it was awesome.
Wow, we crossed over here.
Oh, snap.
Can't escape from crossing fates.
Oh my god. I probably wouldn't have liked this as much if it didn't have the multiplayer that I could play with you, but like the game itself was fun and the storyline was amazingly funny.
Yeah.
And I got to know some characters. Like I don't like Ruby.
Nope.
I'll never like Ruby,
Nope.
so please don't ever try to convince me. Ruby's not good.
Nope.
I had zero idea what Under Night was.
And that led us to
Like,
buying
none.
that game?
Yeah, it did. Which we still, I guess, need to play some. But I didn't like the combat as much in it, like the fighting mechanics as much.
Yeah.
But this game was so fun. And also we got to see the P4 characters more.
I think
like,
yeah, I think that's one of the big things for me is like that game is one of my favorite games of all time, and just seeing that crew interact and having like them bringing back the entire like English cast, for at least for the most part.
Yeah.
And just seeing all those characters interact with each other again is just like it warms my heart. I was like, I love this.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun, and also just like seeing Yosuke hit on Ruby and also run her over with a bike was pretty funny.
Yeah, and like we talked about in the multiplayer section, just like being able to play this game online and just have such a blast with it. Like it even like when we first played that beta, like we had a blast with it, and that literally was what kind of like led us to be like we should probably buy this game.
Yeah.
And then getting into it and just, living and dying by the rando and all that sort of stuff it was so much fun.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that ours is the same on this one. That's
Yeah.
funny. It'll probably be the last one that's the same on it. But...
Yeah, I don't know if you're going to have any of these other games on your list.
Oh, I guarantee you're not going to have any of the other ones on here.
Oh, number 4.
Really? Do you have a number 4? Go ahead. Number 4.
Donut County.
Oh, wow. Okay.
This is a game you can get on consoles and mobile. I played it on phones, and it played perfectly fine there. If you don't know what Donut County is, it's basically like reverse Katamari.
Mm-hmm.
To where instead of like gathering things in a ball, you're just sucking them into the ground. And like it's such a simple concept that works so well, and it has a really goofy story to go along with it. Plays into like the kind of culture of today essentially, and it's just it's a small short game to play, but it's really fun to play. And like even if you're playing it on phones, and I'm assuming it's probably the same on consoles as well, it's such a fun thing to kind of, you can play in short bursts, you can play it probably in just like one sitting, most likely. But it's
Hmm.
got some just really fun gameplay, and like a lot of the writing, especially like on like item descriptions, is so good. Like that's one of
I
the
love
strengths
flavor
of the
text.
the flavor text in this game is fantastic.
I love it so much.
Yeah.
Sorry, I have to put my glasses back on before I can give you number four because I can't actually read number
Oh my
four.
god, buddy.
Yeah. Sorry about that. I couldn't see. Radiant Historia, Perfect Chronology is my
Okay.
number
Yeah.
four. Which I've really already said everything I need to say about it. It's awesome. You should play it if you haven't.
Hmm.
If you like Chrono Trigger, you would like this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's a good comparison.
Hmm.
And then there were three.
Then there were
Then
three.
there were three.
Who's gone first?
You can go first.
Number three for me, Code Realize Future Blessings.
Okay.
Again, probably not surprising. And for all the reasons I've said before, like it was nice to get to go back to this world and interact with the characters. And uh, honestly, one of the best things that this game does is humanize Finis a lot,
Mm-hmm.
which I felt like was sorely lacking in the first one. He was kind of like a one-dimensional villain. He's not anymore in this one. And so I like that you got like actual characterization as well as like, getting to see Impy's naked shoulders and back. Uh, um, but I cannot get over Impy's new storyline on here with the whole like he can't go to the to space, so he's gonna go underwater, and like how he wants to involve you, and like the emotions involved with that was just so beautiful. Um, and speaking of emotions, like Victor's storyline was just, oh, it hurt me. It hurt me so much. Um, but then you got like Cece in a mafia outfit. Like,
God, so
yeah,
good.
perfect. So, yeah, Future Blessings.
All right.
My number three.
My number three is Yakuza
Is it also
6,
Code
The
Real?
Song of Life.
Nice.
The throw the baby in the ocean simulator.
Right. Throw the baby in the ocean because you don't know what to feed it. Yeah, definitely.
I know a lot of people have kind of come out and said that like this isn't like as strong of a game in the series, or like the story isn't as strong, but I really had a good time with this game. Like, and I think a lot of that kind of goes on the strength of putting part of the game in Onomichi, the small Hiroshima city that you get to go to, and
Hmm.
it really captures the feel of like a small quaint Japanese town, and that like it feels so much different from Kamurocho in terms of just like you feel like you're kind of out of your element in a way. Like it's not like just like, oh, here's a bunch of like modern convenience stores on the corner, or like just modern chains of restaurants or anything. Like it's all just like local restaurants, local businesses. It's all these people who are just like trying to make their own living and all that sort of stuff. And it really captures the feel of that in a way that like it just makes it so much like it almost makes it kind of homely to kind of be in that town. Um, and then you just get things like Beat Takeshi's in there.
I say Beat Takeshi's in there. Like that's a huge
It's
thing.
really fun.
You have Tetsuya Fujiwara in
Mm-hmm.
there. You got to hear the hilarity of me not knowing how to handle babies. That my reaction of, okay, the baby's crying and the stores are closed and you don't know what to feed is just throw it in the ocean. Like I think that probably ruined you for a bit.
Real good.
And it's become a thing between us since then
Yep.
that you joke about throwing babies in the ocean still.
Yeah.
Yep. That is my maternal instincts.
And I think like in
Babies
terms,
cry, throw it in the
yep.
ocean.
I think in terms of like just gameplay, like I like a lot of the changes they made from the Yakuza 0 engine and the 5 engine to this, and I think they made some like real good and smart changes to that. And just a lot of like the side stories are real goofy and fun. Some of them have callbacks to Yakuza 0, which is really fun. And it's the last game for Kiryu, so he gets to go out in a weird, funky way, but like
Yeah.
I really enjoyed my time with this game. I think a lot more than I was expecting to.
And this was the one where you were showing me like you get to knock over bikes and it actually like
Yeah.
works.
Like
That was so
everything you
cool
can
to
just like
look
knock
at.
over. It's so good. You can just be a menace to
I
society. You can like just you can throw people through the windows of stores and then go in and they'll be like, "No, I don't want to sell anything to you. You're crazy."
You just threw a man through my window.
You know how much that's going to cost?
So that's good that they have like realistic reactions to you.
Yeah, it's really really good.
Cool. Getting to the nitty gritty here.
Number
What's your number 2?
So my number 2 is a game called Florence.
Okay.
It's a mobile game, and it's a game that doesn't necessarily have a lot of like technically gameplay per se, but it's a really, really, really good story in terms of just like showing like just like relationships and like how they can affect people, like the way that like, oh, you're excited by like a new relationship, how that progresses through the relationship, what happens when it goes bad and sour, and like how do you pick yourself up from that. And a lot of that is just like it ties into like there's like little gameplay mechanics of like, oh, like if you want to progress a scene, you got to like put this tiny little puzzle together and all that sorts of stuff. But even like without like just a lot of cool gameplay mechanics or anything like that, like I really enjoyed this in terms of its storytelling and all that, because like there's not necessarily a lot of like writing in it per se. It's a lot of kind of just like imagery, but even then like it gets the story across fantastically, and it really just sucks you in like pretty much like on the onset. And it's a short experience as well. Like it can take you maybe like an hour or two to get through, but it's such a good hour or two. Like it's fantastic. And a lot of that is just because like it's storytelling that's just incredibly done. So like yeah, that's my number 2.
All right.
Tell me your number
that means
2.
You're ready for my number 2.
Yeah.
This may actually shock you a little bit.
Well, let me
honestly.
electrocute myself real quick.
All right. Hold on to your butts.
Got one hand.
Persona 3 Dancing Moon Knight.
Okay.
It wouldn't shock you in the sense that like, wow, you're shocked that it's on this list because you knew it was going to be here. After hearing me play through it, you knew it was going to be here somewhere.
Of course.
But I feel like you probably thought it would be my number 1.
I was thinking it was going to be like top 2.
It's top 2 definitely, and the only reason it's not number 1 is because it doesn't have like a proper story mode in the sense of like Persona 4 Dancing All Night had, because that was just so mind-blowingly good.
I think that's kind of why it's not higher on my list as well. Is that lack of story
That's the
mode.
only reason. Is like I loved playing through it. The mechanics were fun. I loved seeing these characters in HD. I loved interacting with the characters. The songs were great. The dancing was great. Like everything about it was, the outfits are amazing. Everything about it was just so good. But without that lack of story mode, I was like, I can't give it number 1. I just can't.
Yeah.
Because I know what the potential of these games could be, and it wasn't, because Persona 5 had to come out at the same time for some god-awful reason. And it brought this one down. It's really tragic.
Yeah.
But also, Akihiko is beautiful, and I got to see his room and find out that he wears red underwear and eats lemons whole because
He just
what the
chomps
fuck,
those
Akihiko?
lemons.
God, I love him so much. I'm really, really glad that you got to experience me playing this though, because like,
yeah,
it's legit like the happiest I think I've been gaming in a long, long time. It's insane.
it was a lot of fun.
It was so much fun.
All right.
Also, I have both titles on here, but Dancing Moonlight's still the better one.
Oh, 1000%.
Dancing in Moonlight? Who are you? Get out of here.
All right, we are down to the numero uno. So,
All right.
So tell me your surprising number 1 pick.
All right. You might not be as surprised by this one as I think you would be. I had a debate with myself whether or not it would count, because what I picked is Xenoblade 2 Torna the Golden Country.
Okay.
And it's not technically a game. It's an expansion to a game. But again, I put like 50 hours into this, which is like a straight up solid amount for an RPG. I did 100% of the things you could do. I did the entire community. I fought every special like enemy thing. I went through the story. I got everybody to level 99. Like I wanted so much more out of this game that I couldn't have it because I loved it so much. And I was like, all right, the characters are fantastic. I never want to leave. I never want to leave because they're so likable. Everybody's so likable. And getting this backstory, it humanized Jen in a way that I really needed. And you can see the progression throughout it of like, okay, this is how he got to where he was in two. You can also see a lot of like Mithra's route and how she got to two. Um, I loved it. And I didn't sleep for a long time playing this until like I finally just like crashed because I thought it was so good. And it was really the story, honestly, that did it.
Yeah.
It really was. As you were mentioning, like it was kind of surprising how good the story was and how good the writing was. And the quality of life changes were fantastic. Um, I liked Xenoblade Chronicles 2 way more than you did.
Right. Yeah.
Um, but I would wholeheartedly 10,000% say that Torna is a much better game all around.
Yeah.
Also got rid of the terrible gacha system, thank God.
Automatic improvements.
Automatic improvements. I still don't have. I'm so mad.
Now's all the time for that.
Yeah, I put in like 300 hours to that game. But anyway, Torna, you get number 1 this year. Yay!
All right.
What's yours?
Well, let me ask you. Do you have any idea of what my number 1 could be?
I have no idea.
Okay. My number 1 game of 2018 is a little game called Hitman 2.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
I would not have expected that.
They made more Hitman.
They did make more Hitman.
And it's still as good. Yeah, like you could literally just base it off that. Like they made more Hitman, and it's still as good. Like the game is still it plays so well. Like the gameplay in that game is just amazing. There's so much variety of what you can do to get exactly what you need done in that game, and the game gives you the freedom to do just like the most wacky and inane shit in it, and it's like, okay, sure, why not? You want to try this? I mean, it may work, it might not, but like you can try it. It's possible.
Watching you kill or knock out like 10 dudes because you couldn't make this one shot on a lady, and like people kept coming to check, and they're like, "Oh, hey, you're here," and then you just knock them out. There's just like a pile of bodies, and you keep stealing their outfits so that people don't recognize who you were. Like that was so funny watching it. Also, you were Florida Man. That was good.
You could be Florida Man. It's real good.
You could be Florida Man. That was honestly so funny to watch, though. Just like, oh, gotta knock this guy out. Whoop, gotta knock this guy out. Oh, you saw me. Gotta knock you out too. You just had a pile of bodies.
It's real good.
I loved it.
I think all the new levels are well done. Like they add some like interesting wrinkles to stuff, and some of like the gameplay mechanic changes they made to where like you can go into like foliage now and like have that like be like a hiding spot, and it works really well. And like they even add that into like the first game's levels to do that, and like they added like stuff like, well, like mirrors work now. So like if you're doing something and someone catches it in a mirror, you're gonna get caught. And like all that's in the first game's level, because like they basically made this almost a hub for like all of the levels. So like you can play all of Hitman 1 and Hitman 2, and it's so smartly done. It's amazing. Like the only like downside I almost kind of think about this game is that like I almost wish it was episodic as well as the first game was, because like I feel like that made me appreciate the levels a little bit more and like made me like spend more time in them. And with this, I kind of haven't really had the time to do that. But like it's something I really want to go back and do, because I really enjoyed doing that in the first game and getting like the mastery level up for like all of those levels to unlock all of the specific items you can get for them, and that just leads to like more and more cool stuff. Yeah, it's really well done. I know a lot of people have had like kind of complaints about the story not having like fully animated cutscenes, but like it's fine. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
deter from the story, and I think the ending little twist is an interesting wrinkle that if they do Hitman 3, it's gonna be. I'm intrigued to see what they will do with that. And yeah, like it still plays as great as Hitman 1 did. And then they made changes to it that made it even better, and it's still good. And I'm glad that that IO was able to bring this out after Square Enix basically dumped them.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then like they did an elusive target with Sean Bean in it, where they called him the
That was
Undying,
hilarious.
which is
The
real
Undying. That's a really
Mhm.
good goof.
good. I've heard things about this game not selling well, and I've seen it on sale a lot for half off recently. So like buy Hitman 2. It's phenomenal. If you can get it for half off, like do it. It's so good, and you can get all of Hitman 1 for it. So like that's two fantastic games in one, and it's so much content and so much like just good stuff to do in that game. So there you go.
We did it.
We did it.
We got through 2018 almost.
Finally.
God, this year. I mean, honestly, like think about it though. 2017 game of the year. Since then, I've become a doctor.
God.
Weird, right?
I've done nothing.
That is a lie. That is a huge lie. For one, you became a writer for Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
2, you've gotten a step closer to finishing your degree.
Yeah.
3, you made the coolest class syllabus I've ever seen in my entire life. 4, you're amazing. So shh. 5, you helped me get that PhD because you are my moral support.
Thank you.
There you go.
All right. Well, maybe 2018 wasn't as bad as we thought. Well,
2018 was still a dumpster
it
fire.
was still a dumpster fire, but there was some bright moments in there.
It's true. I got a job. Yay!
You did.
Yay! I'm employed.
But that's it for games. Like we said at the beginning of this episode, like it's hard.
It was a weird year.
It was a weird year. Hard to come off of 2017 and think that like it's going to be the same quality because that's just not how it works. But there were some bright spots in 2018 in terms of games. I think we can both agree on that. And then next year looks to be pretty interesting. A lot of
we've got a crazy 2019 coming up.
and it's going to start crazy. Like these first few months are just jam packed.
Bang 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 bang
Yeah.
bang, like the song.
So congratulations to the Quiet Man for being Game of the Year 2018.
Woo! Good job.
The shush
You are
shush
the
man.
ultimate baker of New York, buddy. So proud of you.
Congratulations to all our winners. They are well deserved.
Very proud of you guys.
And
Thanks for being good games.
Well, most of them are good games.
Well, yeah, some of them are terrible, terrible games.
That's gonna.
Also, I'm surprised that like the Quiet Man itself didn't come up other than it being the Quiet Man Presents.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, Quiet Man. You didn't get worst game of the year. I'm proud of you, buddy. Anyway, we did it.
We did it. That's gonna wrap up 2018 as well.
Mm-hmm.
Put a bow on it. Throw it into the fire.
Okay. It's already on fire. Are you joking?
Oh, get it off me. So we will.
I don't like being on fire.
So we will be back next year with some new stuff as well. Obviously, next week we'll have a new episode to be determined because we got to figure all that stuff out. But we have some ideas of stuff we got to talk about in the new year, and we'll be back on our next week. So like
As we do.
never stops here.
Yeah. Can't stop, won't stop.
It's true. But if you would like more from us, go to seasonallycheckup.com or sac.cool. It's where you can find past episodes of this podcast and other podcasts like Seasonally Checkup and Jared and Now Watch. You can also find columns and reviews on the site as well. So like there'll be a written form of Game of the Year up on both of our sites.
Mm-hmm.
Also go read the Love Life Sunshine piece I wrote last
It's
week.
good.
Yeah.
It's good.
So you should definitely check that out. If you want more from Anladium, go to anladium.com. She's got columns and reviews, and her Game of the Year stuff will be up at the same time as this podcast going up. So if you want to read her
Correct.
written version of her awards and everything, you can definitely check that out. It'll be fantastic. I haven't read it
Yay.
yet, but I'm just gonna say it's fantastic because that's how Al writes.
I was like, you're used to how I write, so you know what to expect.
You can follow us on Twitter, twitter.com/anime checkup. It's where we do the Twitters. And you can support us on Patreon, patreon.com/SACOVA. So next week, we'll do something.
Yeah.
And we'll bring in the new year.
Programming note though, it will be like earlier than usual because I'll be presenting at MagFest next week.
True.
So you'll get the episode for Patreons a little bit early.
And hey, if you're at MagFest, go see Al talk.
Yeah. Be nice though. I talk on Friday. Yay.
So if you're in the area and you're going to that, definitely check out her talk on part of her dissertation.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll be
And
fantastic.
how about Pac-Man?
Yes. So there you go. That's it. That's it for 2018. Let's run away.
Bye.